Good morning, St. Francis. It is Thursday, June the 24th, 2021. It is Thursday of the 12th week in Ordinary Time, but more importantly, today it is the solemnity of the birth of St. John the Baptist. It is also 6 months until Christmas Eve, so that's something to think about too. But St. John the Baptist on this day, his vigil yesterday, and today we celebrate his feast day, one of the three great summer feasts in our liturgical calendar. Next week on the 29th of June, we have solemnity of St. Peter and St. Paul, and then we have on August the 15th, the Assumption. August the 10th, St. Lawrence was also one of the great feasts of the summer, but it kind of got downplayed, unfortunately. So John the Baptist, Peter, Paul, and Mary are all celebrated over the summer in their great solemnities. But today, John the Baptist, his nativity. Yesterday in the vigil, it would have been the proclamation to Zechariah that Elizabeth was going to have a child. Elizabeth in her advanced age would have a child. A lot of times it is understood that Elizabeth was barren, and so it was all her fault that she couldn't have a child, and so God kind of corrects that. Not necessarily the case, because this is a mutual issue that both Zechariah and Elizabeth are dealing with. And so God rectifies the mutual issue so that both Elizabeth and Zechariah can bring forth John, who will be the herald to announce to the world the coming not only of the Messiah, but of God's decisive work in our human history, to change human history, to create a different kind of human history for us. On this day, on the day we move into John having been born and his naming, and again his naming happening because it is Elizabeth who says that his name shall be John, and not Zechariah, as was sometimes the custom, but not always the custom in some Jewish circles where the firstborn son would always bear the father's name. Here it is something new, something different. And John essentially in Hebrew can mean God makes grace. And again, grace to be understood not as some kind of pixie dust or some kind of sort of imaginary, protective blanket over us or whatever it is. Grace is an experience of love, no more, no less. And that is what God makes, love. And the height of God's love will be to give us Jesus, to give us the Christ, so that we might know how much that we are loved, and to know the power of love and what love can offer us and what love can do in our lives. If we dare to embrace love, live love, bring love, give love, share love, be love for one another in this world. The wonderful thing that will happen in the life of John in announcing the Messiah is that announcing Christ is that especially in John the Evangelist's Gospel, John the Baptist speak the words, "Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." Sometimes we pluralize that into sins, and it's kind of like each of us in our own little difficulties. God, the Lamb of God takes away all those things. But it is more than just that. What Jesus does is take away the brokenness of the world, a brokenness that we cannot do anything about ourselves, and we need God's help. To remember that John is the one who heralds that the Christ will come to do that. Is the blessing, the wonder, and the glory of this day, in which we celebrate the one who came to bring the good news that salvation was at hand in our midst. May that always be our job, to announce to all the world the good news that is alive and true and well in our midst, in all that we say and all that we do. And may the Lord give you peace.